चित्तचोरा सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Together we'll chant verses 11 to 20, chapter 10, Bhagavad Gita.
तेषामेवं पार्थम् अहमज्ञानजं तमः नाशयाम्यात्मभावस्थः ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता अर्जुन उवाच परं ब्रह्म परं धाम पवित्रं परमं भवान् पुरुषं शाश्वतं दिव्यम् आदिदेवमजं विभुम् आहुस्त्वामृषयः सर्वे देवर्षिर्नारदस्तथा असितो देवलो व्यासः स्वयं चैव ब्रवीषि मे सर्वमेतदृतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव न हि ते भगवन् व्यक्तिम् विदुर्देवान दानवाः स्वयमेवात्मनात्मानं वेत्थत्वं पुरुषोत्तम भूतभावन भूतेश देवदेव जगत्पते वक्तुमर्हस्य शेषेण दिव्या ह्यात्मविभूतयः याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान् इमां स्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि कथं विद्यामहं योगिन् त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्त्योऽसि भगवन्मया विस्तरेणात्मनो योगम् विभूतिं च जनार्दन भूयः कथय तृप्तिर्हि शृण्वतो नास्ति मे मृतम् श्रीभगवानुवाच हन्त ते कथयिष्यामि दिव्या ह्यात्मविभूतयः प्राधान्यतः कुरु श्रेष्ठ
No sound, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Thank you.
So does anyone have any question? If you have a question, general question, please put it on the chat, just as a discipline for our mind. Anyone new in the class, or do I proceed? Anyone's new? Oh, Arjun.
I'm new.
Today's the first day.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We are currently doing the Bhagavad Gita. We are on the 10th chapter, and we are in a very nice part where he tells us what we need to do in the spiritual path. So we are on verse 10, and it says Tesham. Tesham means to them. From the pronoun Tat for all those in the Sanskrit class, Tesham, to them, for them. Tesham means whom? Remember, he's already told us. To them means who? Those of the 9th verse. All those people who have done what they need to do to make their minds available. The first step on the spiritual path, first step, when I say, I don't mean it as the first step, as in the first, what should I say, the first lap of the journey. The first lap of the journey is making the mind available. That itself is a big thing. If you have made your mind available to this path, that means you're introverted enough to consider looking at life differently. When the desires are too many and they're totally out of governance, the mind, all the knowledge we hear is water off a duck's back. Nothing is happening. It's like you hear a class for 1 hour and maybe you get 2 sentences out of it because the mind is not available. And then if you do what he's told you in the 9th verse, then Tesham, to them who have made their minds available to us and are now serious about achieving something here. See, two kinds of people approach, broadly speaking, two kinds of people approach the spiritual path. One is good people, nice people, because they are good and nice people, they're sweet people, like everybody in the class here. Everybody's nice, everybody's sweet, they want to help, they want to do good. They approach out of the goodness of their heart. Okay, so you'll see people who are involved in any kind of spiritual activity, there's always something sweet or nice about them. The goodness of their heart. Like everybody over here does karma yoga, does something, or everyone's trying to contribute in some way or manner, and they're doing it. They are service oriented. If they proceed in this thing, they continue to take on service, they continue to do work like that, then they will reach what he's talking about here, which is the start of the second lap of the journey, where the mind is available and you have a clear goal. Earlier, there's no clear goal when you come to the class. What is your goal if I ask you? You're like, I don't know, I have no clear goal. What are you here for? You're here out of the goodness of your heart. The heart is engaged in goodness. This is the first lap. It's a good thing. You have to move to the second lap, where the intellect is engaged. When the intellect is engaged, you have goals, you have discipline, you have a set path Now, most of people who would be doing something, doing some karma yoga with the institution, will be doing some karma yoga with somebody else also and serving something all over the place, and then getting all worked up. Oh, I've got this to do, that to do, all that. In good activity, of course. Well, same, is going on. All the dance of the mind is still on. And then you become disciplined. Then you're clear what you're trying to achieve, what is the path to achieve that, and what is your yardstick that you are achieving that. You're clear about this. This is the second lap of the journey. I don't think this is the last lap, this is only the second lap. So this chapter actually is for that kind of thing, where the mind is engaged and he has to now convert people into the intellect being engaged. So you'll see from now on, Arjuna's mind is engaged. So when mind is engaged, the clear yardstick of the mind being engaged is what? Tell me.
Emotion. Questions all over the place.
Okay, that is true, that kind of indiscipline. But broader than even the questions is what? What were you saying, Deepa?
I said emotional.
Yeah, that's right. So when the mind is engaged, what is your sign? What you know that this person's mind is engaged? Because what is that person doing?
Paying attention.
No, Kinnari, that's the last thing he does.
Attachment.
Agitated.
What?
Agitated.
Yeah, here he's engaged in good things.
Happy. Deluded.
Nice one,
Deluded.
Varsha. Huh?
Somewhat deluded or?
I mean, he's engaged in good things, but his mind is engaged. Remember, his intellect is not engaged. So his mind is engaged. So what is his most clear characteristic? What is this person doing? He or she doing?
Likes
He's
and
enjoying. Enjoying.
Okay, you can say that.
Lost in thought.
Okay, and so therefore, what? What is he doing? The question is, what is he? What?
Involvement.
Okay, fine. So what is he doing?
indulging in likes and dislikes.
Okay.
He's in his ego.
Okay, you are not wrong, but just think about it. Just be practical and down to earth, okay? Here is a person whose mind is totally engaged. He's totally into it. Think of yourself, when your mind is totally engaged. What are you doing?
You are attached to that particular.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Think about it yourself.
Thinking.
Okay, let's give you an example. Your mind is engaged. You love somebody dearly. Or what will you do? Or you are very angry. What do you do? What do these people do? They get very carried away with something. What do?
React.
Their emotion.
React.
They are always agitated.
Okay, here the agitation is reduced because they're good.
They always express their emotion.
They're constantly thinking of that, what they're engaged.
Yes, so what are they doing?
They are in the moment.
Focus.
They are lingering.
What are
Obsessive.
they doing?
They are being in the
Attached.
moment.
Concentrating.
Attached.
Constantly acting. Constantly
No, they
thinking
know. How
something.
can when the mind is engaged, how can you concentrate? You won't concentrate.
No,
You can
constantly
involve.
doing
Involve.
The
something.
opposite.
Physical activity.
What's that activity they're doing?
Getting to know more
Talking.
and
What? Who said that? Somebody said it. No, who said it?
getting to know
Talking.
more.
Jyoti, very good. Jyoti, is that you? What did you say?
Talking.
Yes. Have you noticed what you do when your mind gets engaged? Lot of chatter. You're angry, you're upset, you're loving. What are you doing? Lot of talking. Even when you're interested in Vedanta, what do you want to do? Lot of talking. And so in this chapter, you will see our friend Arjuna, how much he's going to talk from now on. These next few verses very easy because it's only Arjuna carrying on. Talking, because mind is engaged. When you get interested in Vedanta, what do you go and do? First, you want to go lecture everybody else. Isn't it? When you get interested in drama or theater, you want to go and talk about it. That's what these people do. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's not for us to judge any stage on the path. It's just for us to understand that this is the stage the person is. You will see in class also, don't you see? People, they'll start a question and they won't stop. Won't stop. Why won't they stop? What's happened?
Because their mind is involved.
engaged.
Yeah, mind is involved. Opposite of that is
Intellect being
Concentration.
engaged.
Intellect is not functioning.
intellect is switched off. So this person talk. Now, when a person is at that stage, he as a teacher has to convert that. He's already recognized what stage Arjuna is on. So he's already said, Tesham, those ones of that verse, of the 9th verse, who have already sort of become good, who have done good activity, who are broadly in the field, let us say, very broadly in the field, such as people in class, broadly in the field. There's not a single pointed goal. How do you know whether you have a single fixed goal or not? How would you know whether that's there? The easiest way of knowing this, anyone wants to take a guess?
Watch your actions.
Everything you do is the reason for that is the goal.
Very good, Varsha. Excellent. You're taking a decision in life, any decision in life. What is a decision based on? Suppose you say, I have to go to the Vedanta retreat. Why are you going to the Vedanta retreat? What made you take that decision? Find out. You say, I'm joining the Vedanta 1-month course. What made you do that 1-month course? You say, I'm coming to the class. What makes you? You're going out for dinner, you're seeing a movie, whatever in the world you're doing. Why are you doing that? If you examine that, you will know what is your true dedication to the goal. Because did you take every decision based on your goal or not? Because if I ask you all, you will say, my goal is self-development. Many of you all will say that. Some of you may even say, my goal is self-realization. Now, ये बोलने के लिए अच्छी चीजें हैं. Very nice to tell ourselves. What do you want? I want spiritual growth. Okay, very nice. So how many actions did you take in the course of your day which were designed, which were impelled because you genuinely thought it will help you grow? When you spoke to your spouse, how did you speak? Did that, whatever you say, did you say it because you wanted to grow? Or you didn't speak? Sometimes you're so angry with them that you don't speak at all. Why didn't you speak? Is it because you want to grow? You tell your child, go to the US or don't go to the US. Big question all these parents have. On what basis? On what basis are you saying anything yourself? So if you claim to have a goal, if that's your claim, some people say, I can't figure out my goal. They are in the 9th verse. Some people say, no, that is my goal. I want to develop spiritually. This is my whole thing. Then how many decisions in your life were taken because that's your goal? If it's 100%, then you're amazing. Then you have come to becoming a sannyasa. If not, then we are in the yogi state. It's just for us to know where we are and what we have to do next. It's not, please, to be judgmental about ourselves or anyone else All of us are somewhere or the other. And the most important question in philosophy is not where you are, but
Where you're going.
Where are you headed?
Where are you
where you're
headed?
headed. I'm so glad you all know that. It doesn't matter. You may be the world's worst person. You may be the world's best person. It is immaterial. You may be a very pure soul. You may be a not so pure soul. But it doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter where you are. What is important is what are you doing now to reach what? Where are you headed? So, Mukesh, do your vasanas which have any place in reaching your goal? As an example that you have vasanas to go to Vedanta. Oh, interest. In chapter 18, he actually does discuss this. Do your vasanas have any place in reaching your goal? What your vasanas are tell you where you are now. What are your interests? What is your degree of ignorance? All that is determined by your vasanas, meaning where you are right now. Okay, so all of us in this class at least have vasanas for Vedanta or at least philosophy, or we wouldn't be here. Right? Now the question is not what you have vasanas for, but where are you directing those vasanas? So you may have vasanas for business or Vedanta or family life or traveling or whatever. Well, I mean, any vasana, even robbing, whatever, alcohol, whatever you have a vasana for. Remember, we don't judge anybody's vasanas, okay? They have a vasana for it, we have a vasana for it. They are no better, no worse than what we are. Okay, so a person has vasana. The vasanas determine in which field you will function. Okay, so if you have a vasana for Vedanta, that's your field. If you have a vasana for business, then that's your field. And if you have a vasana for whatever, and you have multiple vasanas, so all these become the fields of your activity. Okay, step one clear. So do vasanas have any place in reaching your goal? They choose your field of activity. So much clear? Where's Mukesh? Mukesh, where are you?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
So much. No, I haven't finished. Only so much is clear.
Yeah, thank you.
Then step two. When you grow in life, when you are a young sadhak, meaning not in age, but in growth, you choose the field and drop the fruit. When you are a mature sadhak, you choose everything based on the goal. That is the difference, he says, between sannyasa and tyaga, which will be covered in the 18th chapter. So Arjuna asked this question, same question. Is it, what's the difference between sannyasa and tyaga? I mean, technically put, that's the question. Tyaga means you are bound by your vasana. If your vasana is very strong, you have to do those things. Now that you have to do those things, please do them, but don't think of the fruit. And sannyas means, in fact, in chapter 12 also you come across this idea that you choose everything based on the goal. Yeah. Like for instance, now you all are all doing karma. Okay, so what area are you doing karma in? You will choose your area of interest. When you grow, when the vasanas reduce, you will start with what does the goal require. At the moment, you just choose your swadharma and you do it. Later on, you will choose actions based on what the goal requires. Clear or too complicated?
Sorry. Yeah, so basically at the moment, I think you said earlier on that it's a broad field we are looking at the moment. And then we narrow our vision, I don't know if you want to call it vision or thinking, towards actually getting where we want to go.
No, what I said was the vasanas choose your field of activity.
Okay.
That is,
and how
what are your vasanas is your current level. They choose your field of activity. Like if you have, let's say, vasana for business, then you choose the field of business and do the business for a higher cause. Okay. That's step one. Step two is when your goal is realization, you even choose actions based only on realization. All right.
Yep. Thank you. Yes.
Arjun, are you okay since you're new? If it's too complicated, forget about it.
No, it's not complicated. I mean, I'm simply listening to what is going on.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
clear, right? Okay.
Of course. Thank you.
So, Varsha, anyone else is new and is not clear of what's going on, please stop me and ask. Dharam, are you weird? Dharam Veera Soni. Oh, it's almost like Dharam Veer. Dharam Veera Soni. Is that our Soni or what? Because nowadays people put just about any name and then I never know whether it's a new person or not.
It's a new person, Jankiji.
Oh, okay. So Dharam, are you okay? Archana, are you okay? Anybody else's new name? Everybody else is old, right? So now, Varsha. Every decision towards self-development is like aiming for PhD while in KG. Every decision towards self-development is like aiming for PhD while in KG. Varsha, because you have been here for a long time, you cannot say this. I mean, if anyone else says it, or not anyone else, people who only were in online classes and any pre-COVID student cannot say this. COVID batch can say this. Every decision towards self-development is like aiming for PhD while in KG. We cannot make this statement at all because we cannot make a general statement for everybody. So you can start your sentence with when every decision, when it is so, not now, because because when you're learning philosophy, the single most important thing is you say what you mean and you mean what you say. And it's your job to ensure that that is exactly what you mean. Now you're talking about yourself maybe and maybe somebody else.
No, just me, for myself. If I'm going to aim, like we spoke just now, that every decision towards the goal.
Okay, just get this first point that you cannot make these random statements for all and
it's for me.
Okay, so you can, but you can say when this is so. Neither do you need to expose yourself. You let's say when the decisions are made towards self-development is like aiming for PhD while in KG. Then, so right now, every decision for development of intellect or doing what needs to be done is a good yardstick. It's very, very vague. When you say development of intellect, what is it that you mean?
I mean, using
don't tell me. That's not, I'm not asking you. I'm saying you must know this. So you must have your own goal, whatever it is. Okay. According to you, what is a realistic goal, measurable goal, time-bound goal? You know, I want to do X in Y time is a goal. If your X and Y are not known, it's no goal. I want to develop a university in the next 5 years is a goal. I want a university, not a goal. Okay, even though it's very specific, you'd say, oh no, it's very specific. No, unless it's time bound, it's still not a goal. Okay, so you can't say, I want to develop the intellect, because then you will have to define What is development of the intellect? Then you're okay. And in how much time are you planning to do it? Otherwise, you'll go on for the rest of your life saying, I have to develop intellect, I have to develop intellect. Oh, my intellect is not developing. Oh, nothing is happening. It'll all be vague and ambiguous. Okay? So what is a good yardstick is your goal. Whatever specific goal you have to approach your spiritual path as every high achiever approaches their thing. If he wants to be a Wimbledon champion, he says, I want to be a Wimbledon champion in 2025 or whatever. And then he works his way backwards and says, okay, so what do I have to do in 22 so that in 25 I'll be there? If you want to be Miss Universe, Varsha, if you plan to be Mrs. Universe, then you must say in which year I want to be Mrs. Universe. So let's say I want to be Mrs. Universe in 2024. Then I work my way backwards and say, what do I need to do in 2022? What do I need to do in the next 6 months? What do I need to do in April? What do I need to do in March? What do I need to do today? Then you have a goal. Talking in the air is not a goal. The whole point of a goal is one word. The whole point of a goal is one word. Somebody say it.
Realistic.
The whole point of a goal, one word.
Action.
Act.
I can't hear you all. What, Kinnari?
Dedication.
Milind?
Achievement.
Can be realistically reached.
Action. You have to act.
One word. Please, you all are not following the flow of thought. If whatever the point was just made, if you have to put this entire point in one word, what would that point be?
Focus.
Okay. You're getting closer.
Discipline.
You're getting closer.
Worship.
What?
Pursuing it. Worship has to pursue it continuously.
Abhyasa, practice.
You all are not listening to what is being said in class. What is going on in your mind are things you already know. The explanation just given to Varsha can all be summarized in one word. And that word will be?
Planning.
Direction.
Identification.
And
Clarity.
and result.
Clarity.
Okay. Okay, the one word is if you have a goal, the whole point of the goal is
Where you are headed.
that is the goal. Whole point of a goal. If it's a goal, then the one
Janki
thing
ji,
it has is
single point focus.
Purpose.
in today's discussion. Don't go here and there. Don't bring another
Engage.
knowledge. That means you paid no attention to what's going on today.
Engaging your intellect.
That is correct, but that's general.
Measurable.
Okay. Okay, Deepak, specific. The
Engaged.
word, yes, Mithali?
Engaged.
Engaged, okay. The word, Kalyan, you said something?
Pursuit.
The whole point of this discussion with Varsha from the very first point is, can all be summarized. Please try to do this. Summarize things in one word so you know exactly what is the point here.
Self-effort.
Today's discussion, if anyone had been concentrating, then you'd have known the answer. In one word, it would be, last chance, precision. The moment you know something, you're precise about it. When you don't know it, you're hitting. Tukka lag raha hai, yahan maro, wahan maro. The whole point of a goal is its precision. That is why in class, that was the first point. Why did I make such a big point to Varsha in the first place? That you can't write all this stuff. Because she's an old student. She cannot talk like that. Not after coming to philosophy. So why are we so particular which word you use? Because the whole point, if your intellect is engaged, you will start becoming precise about it. You say what you mean what you say. You do according to where you're going. You don't do and then decide where you're going. The whole point is being that precise. Okay, so if you claim to have a goal, you better be precise about it. I mean, every aspect of Vedanta. Your troubles will really start when we start giving exams. You better be precise. Yeah, otherwise, what are we doing? You know what happens in most religious classes? People learn a lot of general stuff and then they go on spouting it out. So their intellect never develops. 90% of people in religious studies have no intellect. Imagine denying yourself that one thing that will take you quickest to your growth. You're denying that. And you say, oh, I love God. And then create chaos around you everywhere. There are some people who create chaos in the community. There are some people who create chaos in their homes. And there are some people who create chaos in their life, all on the grounds of being religious people. Isn't that a horrible, horrible thing? And then any sensible person says, "Arey Baba, ye religion ke paas nahi jao, kyunki ye sab pagal ke pagal log hain." And then we also say that, oh, nobody's interested in religion. Nobody's interested in religion. Why? If you're living your life with that kind of precision and with that kind of understanding, whether or not they're interested in religion, they will be interested in whatever it is you're doing. They want to know, what is it? How are you like? Anybody who has half a brain will ask you that question. So, Omkar, where's Omkar? Omkar, are you there? Omkar, can you tell me what is now? Okay, here. Omkar is our head of marketing. I don't know what we are marketing, but anyway, he's the head of the publicity department. So, Omkar, please tell me, what is the best advertisement for Vedanta? All the others in marketing, please tell me.
Be a good Vedantist.
What?
Be a good Vedantist.
Be what?
Be the self you can.
Ourselves.
To try ourselves. To try and follow the teachings of Vedanta.
Ourselves is the best approach.
Correct. We ourselves are the best. My behavior is the best advertisement or not for Vedanta. There's no advertisement better than this. That's what the Gita recommends. Please, I'm not telling you all my own views, okay? Because I'm not a very smart person and I don't know a lot, but I'm just repeating what the Gita says. Anyone of you remember where the Gita said that? Where are all my old students?
Whatever leader does, that alone others follow.
Okay, fine. At least you're in the right chapter at the moment. It's not completely on the head. We are going to be doing this particular verse at the retreat, by the way, which is good. Anyone remembers? All gone, no?
Yadyada Acharati, madam.
That is the one Bharat said. You all are in the right chapter. Which is the verse? Ashya. Which is the verse? Ashya, which is one of the oldest in this class, not in age, but in terms of where are all the old ones? Meera? What? Well, everybody has gone to sleep. All pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, everybody has to be knowing this. In the 3rd chapter, he says, make your action. Do not preach to the ignorant. Do not tell them what to do, but render your own action so good that your life is attractive. Let us be the change, as Gandhi says. We're too interested in other people changing. Let us be the change. As a famous Western literature said, make yourself an honest man, and you can be sure there is one less scoundrel in this world. Make yourself an honest man. Now don't say, oh, I'm very honest, I don't tell lies. If you're not realized, you're not an honest person because you're denying the truth of life. Don't say I'm an honest person. Only if you're realized you're honest. Okay, now let's come back. So, precision in the path is what determines that there is a goal. I mean, that's your yardstick. Otherwise, we're all very happy to say, what is my goal? I want to merge with God. Oh, yeah? Really? Talking is very easy. Let's make a university. Yes, you're right, Manoj. Na buddham, na buddhi bedham janayet. Don't trouble the minds of the ignorance. Just live your life the way you know best. Precision is the bottom line of any goal. When you come to a spiritual goal, the precision is 1,000,000 times more. If you want to achieve Wimbledon, you want to achieve a higher turnover, you want to become the world's richest man, you will need precision. But if you want to realize the self, you will need it 1,000,000 times more. Think of how different that is from our way of doing religious studies, Vedanta studies, whatever, philosophy studies, religious studies. अच्छी बातें हैं, सुन लेते हैं. जब my time आया, when I have time, I will listen. If I don't have time, I won't go to class. That's how you're going to achieve something. Are you clear about what you're doing and why you're doing it? Oh, I'll do karma when I have time. When I don't have time, I won't do it. Okay, when you're doing it like that, it's the first lap of the journey. Okay? Then second lap is what he is starting here. Because our friend Arjuna has reached first lap. He's there now. But when is it going to be the highest priority? When is it going to be the one thing that matters most? We all think this study can wait. Something is urgent. The person who thinks that this is urgent, everything else can wait, is on a different platform. Absolutely different platform. So that's what he's trying to take us towards in verse 10. He says, Tesham. Tesham means those who have made the mind available. From the previous verse. Satata yuktanam. Now you understand Satata yuktanam. Satata yuktanam means those who are constantly uniting. It means every action they perform is for the sake of the union. Every action. Satata. Constant. Bhajatam priti purvakam. Bhajatam worshipping. Priti purvakam. Priti purvakam, full of love. Why full of love? Because of various reasons. Number one, excuse me. The mind loves the goal. The mind is inspired by that goal. And because the mind is inspired by that goal, in all things that that person does, he remembers. I mean, the mind remembers. And if everything you do is associated with your goal, imagine what you are feeling about the things you are doing, about the people you are interacting with. Everything gets covered in a feeling of love and affection, because this is what is going to take you to your Lord. Everything. Even the people who are troubling you get covered in it. The Kena Upanishad says, Bhuteshu Bhuteshu Vichitya Dhiraha Pretyasmat Lokad Amritad Bhagavad. Your hair will stand on end when you hear that. Bhuteshu Bhuteshu Vichitya Dhiraha. The Dhiraha means the wise. Vichitya, having thought. Bhuteshu Bhuteshu, in each experience. Leave this mortal world and achieve the immortal. Leave means we don't physically go anywhere. Your experiences are all associated with God, it's associated with the self, it's associated with reality, with Brahman. How can that experience not be something inspiring? How can it? It's like your beloved is there. How can you not be interested? What is that lovely line that in Dr. Faustus, I don't know if you all have read Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus, but is this the face that launched 1,000 ships and burnt the topless towers of Ilium? Is this that face that launched 1,000 ships? You know the story of Helen, right? She ran away with Paris from Troy. So the entire Greek armada came to Troy to get back this Helen, who was the most beautiful woman. And the person least interested in getting her back, very strangely, was Menelaus, who was her husband. But he was okay, fine, she ran away with Paris. But the Greeks were so upset that the most beautiful woman has been taken by Troy, that they set out. I mean, Menelaus also went, but he was not the driver of this whole thing. So the poem says, is this the face that launched 1,000 ships and burnt the topless towers of Ilium? Ilium is Troy. And goes on to say, she takes my soul away, give my soul back, give it again. All is dross that is not Helena. All is dross that is not Helena. When you're madly in love with somebody or something, all is dross that is not Helena. If it's not Helen, then it's all dross, it's all useless. Not interested. Remember in college, you liked a particular boy or girl, you went to a party, that person wasn't there. All is dross that is not Helena. They're useless. The whole party is useless because that particular person is not there. So when you love your Lord that much, and the Lord is there, how can anything be dross? How can anything be uninteresting? How can anything be worthless and valuable? The Lord is there. People being rude and mean to you, the Lord is there. People being loving to you, Lord is there. COVID comes, Lord is there. COVID goes, Lord is there. How can it be dross to a person who's able to see that? Bhajatam priti purvakam. Worships with love. Worship, you already know, means to pursue. That means all the actions are done with love. Why are they done with love? Because you know they're taking you to the self. You know that they're taking you to the Lord. How can you not do it with love? When your goal is clear. When whatever you do is for your goal. It will be done as worship, as love towards that goal. Don't even the Christians say that, right? When you go to prayer in church, what is it called?
Service.
Service. You go for service. Any action you do becomes worship. Salil Gupta, you said that our vasanas determine our field. That's correct. Is it also said to choose your field as per your prakriti? Now, Salil, because you have also been there for a long time, don't keep jumping words. You said that our vasanas determine our field. Correct. So follow your own line of thought. It is also said to choose your field as per your prakriti. What does the word prakriti mean?
Sum
total of
your inherent nature,
Correct. What does vasanas mean?
your inherent tendencies.
Again, you're
Isn't
changing.
it the same?
Your inherent nature, is there any difference between nature and tendencies?
No, it's the same. So
Okay, so fine. So, okay, let's read further. So, is it the same thing? Now you tell me, is it the same thing?
yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay. And what is the relationship of the gunas in this? What are the gunas?
Our vasanas as
It is a classification of the vasana. But we can't classify vasana, so it's a classification of mental temperaments. So are they the same thing?
yeah, but I
Okay,
mean,
go ahead.
they also say that if, for example, you are predominantly one guna or the lower tamasic, or you need to strive to go towards the sattvic. So, but it's also
Stop,
very
stop, stop.
difficult to change
Striving is always associated with,
purusharth.
that is what it means, that's effort. Striving is always, effort is for what purpose?
Goal.
For the goal. Striving, effort is for the goal. Right? At the moment you're talking about, Salil, what are you talking about?
I was talking about how to, I mean, if somebody wants to progress from predominantly tamasic.
No, wait, stop. Let's read your question again. You said vasanas determine our field. Okay, I'm assuming you mean field of activity. Correct? You're meaning that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Vasanas determine our field of activity. Striving is associated with
Choosing the right field.
Huh?
Choosing the right field.
No.
The goal.
With the goal. What field you are in is question number 1. What your goal is question number 2. Your vasanas will determine your field of activity. Remember, we just did it a short while ago. You know the importance of paying attention? Your vasanas determine your field of activity. Okay, so say, Salil, you are a business person, right? So, your vasanas are for business. That determines that you should be doing a business. My vasanas are not for business. If I start doing a business, I don't even know what will happen as a consequence. But both you and I can have the same goal of self-realization.
Right.
Right. So the goal is not really is not necessarily associated with the field. In your field, in the business field, you can have the goal that I want to make so much money so that I have this house and this car. You know, I should have houses in Paris and south of France and in New York and Tokyo. This could be your goal. That I'll run my business so that I have this. Or you can run your goal or your business thinking, this is how many people I would like to serve with this product, whatever I'm making. This is how they're going to be benefited out of it. And this is how many people I'm going to serve with. Or your goal can be, self-realization. So the goal is not necessarily associated with the field. For instance, suppose I am a doctor, okay? I can have the same goal as you, which is houses in Tokyo, south of France, and New York. We can both have the same goal. Because what am I trying to do, even while being a doctor, is to say, how much money am I making? What's the bottom line of this? That's my goal. Okay? So, goal for different people in different fields could be the same. They choose their field based on their vasanas. And they can conceive their goal based on their level of growth. So, Tamas Rajas Sattva tells you your level of growth. Really. Have you got more? Tamas means you're not so growth. Means you won't be capable of having a goal. Rajas means you've grown up and you're now able to have some desired in goal, selfish goal. And Sattva means you're able to consider higher goals. So, Tamas Rajas Sattva will actually tell you a level of growth. But they're in any case a classification of your vasanas only.
So, yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, so I understand that. But I mean, I think it was previously mentioned that it's very difficult to overcome or your vasanas or to convert from bad vasanas to good vasanas. So is this same for the gunas as well? So
it's the same thing. That is the answer, right? It's the same thing.
But they say that if you should strive to move from tamasic to sattvic level. So
Salil, I don't think you're paying attention. You're striving to go from tamasic to sattvic is about goals. What is the goal of your life? What is that strive? If you're striving to go from tamasic to sattvic, what does that even mean? You can't say, I want to be sattvic. You will have to say, what is it you want to achieve? When your goals are of a higher nature, they are sattvic goals.
right. I understand. Yeah. Thank you.
Jyoti, you're coming to the retreat, no? So I think that we are going to have a tough time. But please come.
Me?
You're coming, isn't it? Did I see your name or not?
Yeah, I mean, I am in contact with Bharti ji, so okay. Yeah.
All right. You mentioned two kinds of people who approach the path. First is the good people. What is the second? Jyoti. Come on, who's going to tell Jyoti what is the second? Whole class went
Whose
on.
mind is available.
The one with the goal?
Yeah. Whole class we did only the second type. Oh no. Differentiating between these two types. Okay. Tesham satata yuktanam, constantly united. Bhajatam priti purvakam, worship priti purvakam, with full of love. Dadami buddhi yogam tam, I will give them buddhi yoga. Yena mam upayantite, by which they will reach me. I will give them buddhi yoga. Means your actions will be determined by your intellect. Do all this. Your actions will be determined by your intellect. And by that, you will realize the self. Mam upayanti, you will reach me, means you will realize the self. Dadami buddhi yogam, I will give buddhi yoga. I will give that union caused because all the actions are driven by the self. So why is he saying I will give? Because it's a law, it will happen. All laws are backed by the self. So he can say, I will do it. It is not a false thing. But if you think that he will make you do it in the sense that he takes responsibility for your reaching, be disabused because he ain't doing nothing. The buck stops here. Either we take the responsibility and reach our goal, or we don't take the responsibility and you say, oh, God is not helping you. God will not help you. You do it yourself. Nobody will help you. You either take the responsibility or you don't. The buck stops here. But if you do the right actions, the laws of life will support this. And that's not just poetic, because it's a fact, right? If you do everything that is required to grow a tree, the tree has to go. How can it not grow? Isn't it? If you engage every necessary cause, effect has to come. There's no alternative to this. You will definitely reach me. But what do? Have a goal. Do everything you do for that goal. And do it and you will naturally do it with love for everybody and everything that you contact. Okay, so that's it. I hope that is somewhat clear. Hari Om. Oh, is there any announcement today?
Yeah, Janki ji, this is Surendra.
Yeah, go ahead, Surendra.
Yeah, one announcement.
The important man of the day it is.
Hari Om all, for Vedanta University, we are planning for crowdfunding. Request all of you to join the crowdfunding WhatsApp group so that we have adequate numbers before we can start the campaign.